lot of people lose money every single day trading candles, chasing candles. Why? They don't have a strategy, right? They don't know what to do. They're flipping from this strategy to this strategy to this strategy. I get it. I was there. Lost a lot of money doing that strategy hopping stuff. But today, basically just going to give you guys a quick video basically explaining the most simple strategy that, in my personal opinion, I'm not a financial advisor, but in my personal opinion, it's the most simple, right? And we know as traders, we know that trading is a game of simplicity, right? Of patience. So I'm going to be giving you guys a quick tutorial, like I said, about the breakout retest and the breakdown retest. And I've been using this strategy pretty much every day, right? Pretty much every day. Very simple strategy. And we'll go over everything real quick in this video. So, grab you some notes, vocal notes, video notes, whatever. Grab your charts, right? So we can go over some stuff real quick. Gonna be quick and short, nothing too long, and show you how simple it is. Because remember, trading is as simple as you make it. If you complicate trading, it will be complicated. If you keep it simple, it'll just be simple, right? So let's get into it. So first things first, right? And I'm gonna go over some intraday trades as well, some examples of, instances where it does fail and it does work, right? Because we got to be honest, right? Going into any YouTube video you ever watch, I'm not here to sell you a dream and say that, oh, strategies can work 100% of the time. No, it's not how strategies work, right? They're strategies, but nothing is 100%. Breakout retest, fair value gaps, ITC, whatever you think, none of that is 100%. But I'm just using this one because it's just the most simple, in my opinion, right? I've been doing this for a long time, so let's get into it, right? So first things first, obviously, when you're trading, right, you always got to establish yourself some levels, right? We already got our daily levels, and we're going to use this SPY chart for now because this is kind of where we are, as of now in the day. This is Thursday, July 9th at 7 p.m. So, but I don't know if you're going to be watching this now, later, after we break this wedge. I don't know. But anyway, as of now, we are in a very tight range. Well, not very tight, right? We have a pretty decent size. 725 to roughly 755, about a good $30 range. Right, we have support down here. We've already got our support levels. And we got some upper resistance, right, up here. I forgot to change the color. Sorry about that. Right, and we got some upper kind of resistance levels, right? And then we kind of got some 4-hour levels, stuff like that, right? This isn't a charting video, so that'll be a whole different video. If you need help learning how to chart, that's a whole different video, right? This is just for the strategy itself, right? So once we've already established our levels, right, we know what our job as traders is to be patient and wait for our setups. So whether our setups either we're looking for puts or calls, all we're doing as traders is waiting to see how we react to whatever level, right? Whether it be a resistance level, right? Upper targets, right? Resistance being what? Areas where we have rejections, right? Resistance levels, or whether we're reacting to support levels. And support levels are where areas we do what? Where we seem to bounce, right? Seem to hold. So, right, you got your support and resistance. It's a constant battle daily between support, right, holding, and resistance rejecting, right? So perfect example, yesterday, go over yesterday. Yesterday we came down, we had a nice little gap down, right? Had a little opening flush, right, up under one of our little pivot level, 743. Came down here to the 739, 740 level, right? All we have to do as a trader is look left, right? It'll show us what has happened before. So last time we were here, which was a few days before, we bounced pretty decent back up over here, right? You go even low, go back even further, you'll see, okay, well, when we were below this level, we got a nasty little dump, right? So we know off those two visuals alone, it's either gonna bounce up here or it's gonna reject down lower, right? And so our job as traders is to figure out, how do we know, right? Where do we get in? What do we do? So of course, obviously, everyone always wants to catch the instant reversal or catch the bottom or catch the, that's cool. It comes with time. Of course, it's fun to do, but it's not very practical of you to always think that you're always going to catch the absolute top of the reversal, the absolute V bottom, right? It's not very, very realistic. So what you want to do instead is to be patient, right? Just wait, sit on your hands. Would this be a good level to go long? Possibly, yeah, because, right, we bounced over here, so it could be a nice little, right, break and retest, come back to the same level. It could be, or could we slice back below like we've done before, right? We don't know this. So of course, looking at it now, we're like, oh, well, now I know how to bought calls. Yeah, right. Would you, if you're new to this, right, this isn't something that you just remember. This is your money. You don't want to gamble, right? And if we already have a possible failure up here, it puts us in a tricky place, especially when we're in this kind of tight range. So of course, you could have said, oh, hindsight 2020. Oh, of course I would have bought calls. Right. Cool. You could have, right? But was that the best place to go long? Not if you're a beginner, not if you know what you're doing, right? Because a lot of people, once we broke this low, they were already saying, oh, we're going to go down to the next level, right? Well, we broke the low, right? Swing low, we broke the low. It's automatically got to go down. No, this is why you always watch the higher time frames, right? You have to zoom out to see how the bigger picture plays out. So there's multiple ways you could have played this, right? You could have used the little mini breakout retest from over here. But obviously, like I said, this is more further down the line. Obviously, we're sticking with our main key levels, right? Even if you sat on hands all day, once you saw us break above, right? This is one of our main levels, 743, right? Remember, this isn't a charting video. If you don't know how to chart, that'll be a whole different video. But yeah, if you're looking at your charts, right, we already broke above a level, right? And I mean, yes, you can say we're in a bullish market, obviously, but as of now, we're kind of just going sideways. So of course, momentum on the higher time frame is bullish, but we're still thinking, well, how do I trade this now inside of this range? Well, breakout, retest, right? What did you do? You got the break. Boom. First step, you got the break at the level. Second step, retest, where it comes down and retest. Oh, I forgot reactions, but when it comes down and retests the level that you just broke out from. So whether it was down here, right? Let's say it did go lower, it did come down here, and then it popped back above. It would need to retest, right? I'm not just gonna buy in on an instant V bottom. I'm not gonna buy in on an instant, because it's very tricky to play those, right? And remember, this is your money. This is, if you want to treat it like a real-time job. I mean, if you want this to be a full-time job, you have to treat it like a full-time job, right? This isn't just, no, I'm just gonna buy call. This is your capital, right? So you have to prepare for anything to go wrong, right? Because remember, nothing is 100%, and we'll go over instances where it didn't quite play out the way it's supposed to, right? But in this case, boom, we break out, retest, right? These are 30-minute candles. Remember, in a very odd range, in all of this kind of sideways action. I mean, yes, I know that, there's support down here, resistance up here. Yes, of course I know that. But again, entry is everything. If I would have bought in, right, on this first breakout candle, right, if I just bought the breakout, oh, it broke out, cool. Yeah, maybe I could have caught a nice little scalp, but I would have panicked instantly because it just came all the way back down, right? That big red candle. This is what a lot of people do. They see the candle break out and they're like, all right, it's time for me to get in, right? And then they get this reversal, quote unquote reversal candle. And because most people are impatient, they're zooming in on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, they're zooming in like, oh man, I'm cooked. It's coming all the way down, right? Remember, if you just broke out, you're just buying in, cool, it's going. And then you get this nasty dump. You're like, oh, I gotta go puts. And then you're like, oh, I gotta go calls. I gotta go puts, right? And then you get kind of caught in this what's going on kind of motion. So remember, always zoom out. So got the breakout of the level, right? We got the perfect, remember, higher time frames will always be your best friend. Smaller time frames, yeah, they're cool and all. You can use them. You can, obviously. But if you're a beginner to this and you're just trying to find a strategy that works, you want to keep it as simple as possible, right? You want to give yourself time to be right, but you also want to give yourself time to be wrong, right? Because a lot of times people will just see and they'll just think, oh, well, it's going, I got to stop. I got this, and this. But, if you're being, good with your entries and your exits, right? You're buying time, you're being patient, then you can afford to sit, right? And just wait. The only time people are in a rush is they're playing 0DTs. And yes, they're fun, of course, right? They're very fun, but you can get cooked in them, right? Perfect timing, just like this. If you played calls 0DT here, you didn't really go anywhere for the rest of the day, right? You got cooked. But look, higher time frame, breakout, retest holds, right? That's step one. That's step two. Step three, it begins to push back up and prices are accepted higher above wherever the breakout was, right? So as in this case, it was a 743, 744. So in this case, this is why we ended up swinging those calls, right? And then we ended up gapping up in a nice move where to our already level, we already had this kind of, breakout resistance. So it was a very nice move, right? And we were able to, breakout retest again and then hold these levels and continue to go higher. But let's look at a quick example where it doesn't always quite work out the way we want it to or supposed to, right? Perfect example over here, literally just a few days ago. This is an example of a failed breakout retest, right? So we got remember, boom, broke out. Remember, this is we're talking about breakouts. We'll go over breakdowns in a minute. Broke out, right? Remember, there was previous resistance. Boom, we broke out. All right, cool. Retest. Remember, higher time frames. Came back. Because remember, this is your money. If you want to be very positive about the position you're in, have that confidence, it's going to take time. People always be like, well, I just lack confidence. Well, it's because you're very impatient, right? And I know, obviously, because I'm human too, right? This is things that I had to go through. I didn't have this kind of video. Nobody tell me like, hey, back up, right? Back up. You're too zoomed in. But, that's just how it goes, right? You end up too zoomed in, and you're kind of like panicking because you're watching every single candle. This candle's red, this candle's green, this is big red, big green, right? But instead, we should just be focused on the candles opening and closing, right? So, boom, breakout, retest. It does continue higher, right, and pushes for about a good hour, right? So you did get a nice push. So if you did get in here, I understand it, but it instantly came back down and gap down, right? This is just an example of a failed breakout, right? It happens. It's not up to us to be like, oh, what did I go wrong? If it sometimes, things happen the way they're supposed to and it still doesn't go right. Because remember, nothing is 100%. So you don't ever want to just, every test I'm just going to oversize in, because you do have times like this, right, where it does failure and then you get a breakdown retest to go lower, right? So it does happen every now and then. So of course I just had to put that out there, because remember, just because you do get a nice pattern doesn't mean anything, right? There's plenty of times we've gotten 15-minute bear flags and all these bear flags and stuff like this. We got bear flag. Like, we've had these times where we've had these candle setups and they just don't play out, right? There's nothing you can do about it, right? You just use what you can to the best of your ability, right? So in this case, I understand it, right? I play calls myself. I get it, right? Play calls, nice little breakout retest, and yes, they did go green for a little bit. Of course, I did trim, but I wanted to go to my next level, which was up here, and it just didn't happen, and it is what it is, right? But you have to remember, if the plan isn't going the way it's supposed to, you just get out, right? So breakout retest. Let's say, okay, we're in this. How do we know when to cut? Well, if you're buying time, then the only way you would cut is if something like this happened, right? And this is kind of unfair because it did happen overnight. We did kind of get a nasty gap down, and the opening print did kind of do it. So this was kind of unfair. But if it's a live market, right, and it's not going higher, and then you start to lose. Remember, all you got to do is look left. So boom, day opens up, we sell off, we come right back up. We either are going to hold this level, remember, because this was rejection over here, so this was resistance, it was pushing down on us. So we're either going to flip and hold the previous resistance, turn it into support, and then proceed to go higher, or B, or actually three. B would be, okay, we're just gonna go sideways, right? We're not really gonna quite go up yet, but we're still holding the support, right? So of course sideways is an option. We don't like trading sideways, but you have to be aware of it happening. Yes, it happens sometimes, right? Or like I said, the second option, really, C, where you will get a breakout and then it will fail, and then just like it was resistance again, it'll just be another retest and it'll fail back down below, right? So there's really only three ways it can go. So once you know those things and you learn to exercise your patience, it'll get a little easier, right? And like I said, we're in a bullish market, so breakout retests are a lot more common right now than breakdown retests, but of course you do still get them. It is something that you still can play. Literally, hold on. Last 2 weeks ago we got something. Let's go look at them over here. Again, remember, staying at the higher time frames. This is what we do, so we're good at. And boom, right over here. Same rules that apply to the breakout retest, right? Remember, we have to break out what used to be resistance, hold what used to be resistance, flip into support, and then push back up over wherever we broke out from, right? So remember, that's the breakout retest. Now you got to flip it, break down retest, right? So in a bullish market, it is a little odd. It is a little harder, playing the breakdown retest, just because a lot of times, you can get trapped, right? Over here, you got a nice little breakdown. Looks like it's trying to retest, and then it, bing, right? You got to break down, tries to retest, goes higher, right? And then break down, so it is a little hard playing this in a bullish market, but nonetheless, of course, we still can play it, right? Up here, this was June 5th, the dreaded dump day, right? Same rules apply. But in this case, we're flipping them. So if you're looking for a breakdown retest in order to go short, you would have to look somewhere that was previous support, right? So this is previous support or previous resistance. It doesn't matter. It's just a level, whatever level you're looking at, because obviously you can break down retest from a higher level. Of course you can. But I'm saying but those will be easier. If you know you're at resistance and you break down, retest, that's going to be a lot easier. Those are the easy trades that we all can kind of see, after some time, like, oh, we hit the top. Oh, we're rejecting, right? Like that's the easy trade. We already know, oh, there's major resistance. But when we're going to try to play those harder trades where it's kind of, we don't really know, right? We're not really at support or resistance. We're just in between levels, kind of like where we are now. And this is why I'm making this video, because it's a little harder to trade this now, because people are like, well, Are we bullish? Are we bearish? It's breaking out, failing. It's breaking down, failing. Oh, this is why I'm making this video now. But yeah, in these kind of markets, of course, you know it's going to be a little harder, but the same rules apply. You have to be very patient in a sideways market, right? And even though, yes, it's a big $20, $30 range that we can play in, right? We still want momentum. We still want directional trades, right? We still want breakout, retest, bull markets, right? This is what we still want. Or if you're bearish, you know, we do want this. This is it's okay, but it's not the most fun, right? But anyway, boom, you have a level. In this case, our level is 749.50. So we're gonna be using this level right now. Boom, right? Market opens up. Remember, it's only gonna do one of two things. It's gonna hold the level, or it's gonna reject the level, right? Or I guess the third thing, obviously, we don't have to keep saying it, but sideways. But I'm saying the only things that we can do as far as trading it is trading the upwards, right, or the downwards motion. We don't want to trade anything that's kind of doing this, right? No fun. Boo, it sucks. Get out of here, right? But okay, let's say boom, market opens, right? Boom, you look left. Okay, we're already open on a gap down, right? We already are at some resistance levels, right? We already got them kind of pinned as of now, or what used to be support, right? And then this used to be support looking left. Remember, market opens, you always want to look left. Where am I at? Where are we at in regards to what's going on, right? We know that there's some rejection underneath here, because if we look left, look even more left, okay, rejected under here, came down, rejected under here, came down a little bit, kind of held in between here, and then popped. So we know above this level, we should bounce, and we know below this level, it should dump, right? Cool. Just that quick, we already know what the game plan could possibly be. Remember, it either holds this and goes up, remember, look left, or breaks down and goes down, right? So all you got to do is patience. Get off that 5 minute, get off that 1 minute chart. I'm telling you, get off that one. But boom, market opens. Boom, we break down instantly. Boom, we get a candle open and close. Where's the candle close? It closes underneath the level, right? That's just step one. Same way on the bullish move, the first step is, of course, the close above the level. That's just step one. Boom, we got the close below, step one. Right now I can kind of, okay, cool, let me see, I'm already getting ready for how I'm gonna play this, right? Remember, either look left, either we're gonna get a beautiful bounce, or it's gonna reject and look left. What are we gonna do, right? Same thing we just did. So all you gotta do is step one, wait for that candle to close below. Step two, wait for lower highs to form, right? Any lower high. Remember, we opened up here, we closed right here, so it is a pretty decent range on this specific candle, but give yourself that range, right? As long as we're not getting any closes back above wherever this candle was, then we're gonna sit and be patient. Remember, it's a big candle, so you don't want to just take trades in between the zone, because we don't know if it's gonna go up or it's gonna go down, right? So this is a game of patience. This candle did what? It opened, it did go lower, and it did go a lot higher, but what did it do? Open and closed right here. Remember, that's all you care about. Where's this candle opening and closing? Because remember, wicks can get a lot of people. Look, this wick, perfect example right here. Candle look crazy bullish. Anyone who tried to chase it, oh, it's gonna go up here. It just has to. No, we don't know that, right? Just because the candle gapped up, remember, you need to get open. You need to break out, retest, and then we could have got calls to go to the upside. But very impatient people trade on the 5 and 1. Wick faded, right? Instantly cooked, finito. So of course you always want to be very, very patient with this. Boom, right? You got a lower high, candle open and close. Next candle, don't really go nowhere either, open and close. Next candle after that, what does it do? Boom, closes below the breakdown close candle, right? So now you have breakdown close one, step one, boom, retest, step two, and boom, checklist number step 3. We have close below. So now you're good to go ahead and start your position, right? And remember, what did we say? We look left. We already know that if we lose this level, right? If we reject under here, we look left. What do we have? All the way down here. We have rejections here, rejections here. So we know we at least can come all the way down to 745, 744, at least, right? And then what do we do? Boom. You get the close, get the close again, you get the close again, and then you hit your level, right? And at that point, you can already, take profit, leave your runners if you want to, or just fully get out, wait for the next trade, right? And then what do you get? You get the same thing again, right? You get a nice breakdown right at the level, spend some time down here, retest, next candle, boom, flushes again, right? You already have, like I said, you have major levels, so you know where your levels are going to be, right? I'm just going over this one specifically right here. So breakdown, retest is the complete opposite, or not complete opposite. It's the same thing, but just flipped as a breakout retest, right? Look at really everywhere, anywhere you look, right? You're gonna have either a breakout retest or a breakdown retest. It's gonna be one of the two, right? We had a little level down here. Took some time, breakout, retest, and what do we do? Boom, took that high out, kept going, breakout, retest, boom, took that high, right? So it's gonna be a lot easier once you zoom out and you start to just be patient. Remember, you don't need a million levels, you don't need a million lines, you don't need all that, right? And now that we have the full 24 hours, it actually makes it a lot easier. Yeah, it's so much easier to trade now, especially at levels now with, the 24-hour candles, because it does give you, the overnight candles. So that way we don't have to use like Robinhood or Webull, all these other things, right? Because I'm a very, very firm believer in trading view. I love it to death. It's probably my favorite charting service to use. But yeah, so you're just waiting, right? You're getting paid to wait to see if you do what? Breakout retest or breakdown retest, right? And these zones, you gotta just wait. It sucks. I know it sucks, but you gotta wait. And what do we get? Failure to breakdown retest. Breakout retest, buy calls. Breakout retest, buy calls again. Breakout retest, right? And then you got some chop. And then you can trim, right? Take your profit, right? So remember, the more you zoom out, the easier it'll be to see the bigger picture, right? So for now, we're above the 744, and our main level is 750 right now. So if we look left, remember, look left. Last time we broke down, failure here, and then came all the way back down, failure here, boom, and rolled. So that's definitely a scenario. Or you look left again, look left some more, right? Past the rejection. Okay, what happened when we bounced out of here? You got a nice little breakout, retest in, and boom, we came up to here, right? And then even another time, breakout, retest, came all the way up higher to new all-time high. So 750 is going to be a major level to watch. And you just use that on your day-to-day trading, right? So even when it comes to intraday trading, right? Let's say you are just doing some trading throughout the day, right? Like, all right, let me just see what's going on. Right? And like I said, obviously you can use smaller time frames. Of course, I'm not saying don't use them, but I'm just saying for being able to hold your positions a lot longer, you're going to need some time, right? You're going to need some time. Right? You're going to need to zoom out and be very careful because you will get caught in stuff like this, right? This looked like a nasty failure right here. But what do we care about? Open and close, right? We don't chase individual candles. Remember, we are looking for this setup. So, yeah, we got a nice little move in here. All right, remember you got yesterday's high, or my fault, overnight high, my fault. And then yesterday's high kind of up here. So roughly in the same area, all right? So we got the initial, boom, retest, breakdown. Why did that happen? Because of what? We broke down from here. Broke down. We finally came back up. Boom. Of course, initial move is going to be lower. But why do we go higher? Why do we not continue to go lower? Because remember, zooming out will always give you the better picture. Zooming out says, hey, we are overall bullish as of now. All right? So yes, of course, we could have went lower, of course. But the sentiment as of now was bullish. So you're using these things and you're adding them up, right? Okay, well, sentiment's bullish, and I should be waiting for what? Breakout retest. Cool. So if we just had this giant daily, weekly breakout over here and we came down and retested it, right? This is an overnight candle, so it's not like we would have caught this anyway. But came down, boom, right? Breakout, retest, holds overnight. Breakout, retest works. Hits the next target. Little resistance. Cool. Bang. Breakout, retest, breakout, retest, breakout, retest, breakout, and then it just kind of chops the rest of the day, right? And then we're kind of looking overnight. So, you can use it if you're scalping. You can use it if you're swinging. It doesn't matter what you're using it for. But breaking out retest will test your patience, and it will make sure that you are, highly confident in whatever trade you're getting ready to take, right? Because that's what it's all about. Not all of them are going to work. Whoop-de-doo, just how the cookie crumbles, But once you get over that and you understand that 100% win rate, I mean, cool, you have 100% win rate for like a week, 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying? It'd be fun having little challenges like that. But once you understand that nothing is guaranteed, nothing is 100%, then you just stick to one setup. You stick to what you know, you practice it, you watch it, you learn it, and then you just play it, right? You're going to have losers. Yes, of course. Not every breakout retest works. A lot of them do. Breakout retest, beautiful, right? Breakout retest, higher time frame, beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it works. It works when it works, right? And then sometimes it don't. It's just how it goes. Sometimes right? It doesn't really work. And if it's going sideways, but that's why I said you need to identify this for yourself, because you can't just be blindly buying in, right? I gave you the keys on how to identify whether to buy in or not, right? And then if you're not wrong, if you're not right, cut it, right? Who cares? It just is what it is. Go and wait for the next trade, right? And yeah, it's gonna be pretty much it, man. Yeah, keep it simple. Remember, if you start to peep that we're going sideways, if you're trading hourly, 4 hour, whatever, just wait until those candles decide to break, right? Like over here, this was a lot, right? We didn't really do much, but remember what we said. We always expect some sort of failure when we're going sideways. So went sideways a lot. Really didn't trade much at all, to be honest. Got the failure. Did trade this. Always trade the failures, of course. But this could be another failure, right? And they could just be rotating us right back in. So you have to be aware of where you are in order to put the breakout retests together, right? Breakout, retest, bang, breakout. As far as we know, breakout, retest, right? And we will only know with time, right? I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to, where do I get in? No, I know where I'm going to get in, right? If I want to get in, I'm going to get in if this candle closes and holds above 750. And if the next candle starts to push above the breakout, right? Then it's beautiful. Then I got me a nice little cup and a handle, right? And then it all plays out, right? You can put two and two together. If you see a bull flag over a breakout retest, that's even more reason. Oh, wow, I see a bull flag over the breakout retest. Boom, right? These things start to go hand in hand, right? But you don't want to just be strategy hopping, doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that. It's going to mess your head up. So, yeah, very simple. Breakout, retest, breakdown, retest. Very simple. Keep it simple, and it won't be complicated. If you complicate it, it will be. So, it's all up to you. It's your journey. I can't trade for you. I can't do nothing for you. Like I said, it's not financial advice. I'm just here to share some things I learned over the years. So, yeah. Like, subscribe, drop some more videos. I will be making a chart video soon, though. Yeah, but this, like I said, this isn't a charting video. This is pure, just a strategy, breakout, retest, right? And then, of course, we'll revise it and, make new versions and go over indicators and all that good stuff. Make a little mini course. But, yeah, that'll be it for now. Keep God first. See you guys later. Be patient and don't complicate it. Peace.